everybody, it's Roll. I know you're probably wondering, why is that on the screen? That's because there was a Nintendo Direct today, and it was a little over 45 minutes long, and in case you missed it, or you were interested in my thoughts and opinions on certain things that went on during the Direct, then here it is for you guys. So, they started out by talking about Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. There's new areas that you get to explore. There's new Pokemon. They even have bonuses that you can get for pre-ordering. Like one of them was Quick Balls, and I forget what the other one is. But they had a couple different bonuses depending on if you pre-ordered or when you ordered it. And to go along with that, they also had a new Pokeball 2DS XL themed. Well, that speaks for itself, really. It's a new Pokeball looking 2DS XL, which looks pretty cool. So that's kind of neat. They kind of give the backstory a little bit of the different things you'd be able to do. So if you're into Pokemon Sun and Moon, maybe check those out. Then they talked about Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga with Bowser's Minions. I don't think I've ever said on this channel before, but I am a pretty big fan of Superstar Saga. It's one of my favorite games that I've ever played, and this was a game that was back on the Game Boy Advance, and I still have my copy. I would show it here, but I'm kind of set up with my camera and everything. I don't want to move anything or get up or waste time because there's a lot to get through. But from what I understand from what they were showing in the video, the little preview, they mostly went into the Bowser's Minions part because that's kind of the new part of the game. They have like a Minions quest, which kind of like, I guess, lets you see how Bowser got to be where he is right there at the start of the game. To go along with that, they have new stamp sheets that you can get. And if you have the Boo amiibo or the Koopa Troopa amiibo, then you will get a stamp as well. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, great, it's just a stamp. It doesn't do anything. What's the point? Apparently, these new stamps give you new equipment in the game. I don't recall offhand them showing any of those off. I could be wrong, but I was trying to get through this in one stretch, so if I missed the small detail of if they showed what even one piece of equipment was, then I'm sorry. And I'm also sorry my screen is going dark. But yeah, if they showed it, I'm sorry I missed it. I was just trying to watch and get through it and take notes here and there along the way about things that I found interesting personally. And I probably will be getting Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga because I love that game so much. And it'd be nice to have it on something portable. So they talked about Kirby Battle Royale, which is coming out next year. There's like a story mode. You can do regional battles. They actually had a copy ability poll that was going up for your favorite Kirby ability after the Direct. So I assume would be out already since the Direct was up at 3 p.m. for me, for my time. So it's probably already up. I don't even know what the abilities are that are an option in the poll, or I don't know any of that because I watched the Direct just now while taking my notes, and I just got through it. So it seems like it's a pretty fun kind of fighting sort of Kirby-ish game. I guess we'll see, but Kirby usually doesn't disappoint, so I won't say too much bad about there. They were talking about Yokai Watch 2. Now, I'm not really a fan of Yokai Watch, but if you are, they have an update for this game. You can either buy the Yokai Watch 2 games that they're going to release, or if you already have them Then there is a free update that's going to be coming out if you already own it. There's new boss battles. You can transfer your data over so you don't have to restart or anything. You can just continue on where you left off, which is always a nice thing. Like with the Miitomo demo, loved being able to just pick up where I left off. All the stats and everything in place, don't have to redo it. There's also Layton Mystery Journey. I am not familiar with that one at all, actually. It seemed like it was kind of a puzzle solver type thing. But I don't know if that interests you. It kind of doesn't interest me too much, but, you know, to each their own. Big one that I was not expecting. I don't know if anybody else was expecting this or not, but Minecraft. Minecraft is coming out actually today. Should already be out right now. Look on your 3DS. It should be in the eShop. Was not expecting Minecraft to be on the 3DS, but apparently, there you go. It's out today already. So that should be interesting. And it said it came with the 5 packs, which I assume are like the basic starter pack stuff that you get in Minecraft. So, by the way, all this stuff in the beginning is all 3DS stuff. So after this, I'll be kind of talking about Switch stuff. But yeah, everything so far 3DS. I'll try to, if I can, break this up a little bit so you guys know when I'm going to be talking about Switch stuff. But next is something I also wasn't expecting. It's actually called Mario Party: The Top 100. They took the top 100 minigames in, it looked like every Mario Party up to Mario Party 10, and kind of made it like a minigame sort of Mario Party, best games, minigames in the Mario Party universe. That game comes out in November. So that should be really interesting. I wonder, I'm thinking about it, like how are the graphics going to look? Because in the video it kind of looked like they were showing just like the old school, but I wonder if they updated the graphics at all, or if they just literally pulled the minigames from each Mario Party and put it together. I don't know. I guess that remains to be seen, but it should be fun. And I also wonder if it's an actual Mario Party game where you go around the board, or is it just the minigames? Because when they showed this off, they were just showing the minigames. So do you just have fun with the minigames or something? I'm not exactly sure. Metroid Samus Returns. I think everybody is already well aware of Metroid Samus Returns, so I won't really talk too much about that. They kind of, at the end of the 3DS section, they kind of quick fired off a bunch of games. There's the Alliance. Sorry, can't read my own handwriting. The Alliance Alive, I want to say. Shin Megami Tensei, Radiant Historia, Etrium Odyssey, 5 demo. I think they said that demo was gonna be out now, I think. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, Fire Emblem Warriors, and the Orange 2DS XL. Wait, yes. Okay, the Orange 2DS XL. There was a blue one and an orange one, and up until now, the only one we got in America was the blue one. It's like blue and black, I believe. And the orange and white one was like Japan only, but I guess now, if you want the orange and white one, you can get the orange and white one if you want it. I particularly think it looks kind of ugly, but that's just me. So that's pretty much it for the 3DS stuff, and now on to some Switch news. The first thing they opened with was Xenoblade Chronicles, sorry. In the beginning, they were kind of just showing cutscenes, and it didn't really explain anything, and then they finally we're kind of getting into more of the story aspect, which is the part I like to see the most. So I can kind of get an idea of what a game is about. So apparently it's about a guy named Rex, which was like a scavenger of some sort. And he meets a girl named Pyra, and he has to deliver her to some place. And apparently that's a big problem, and there's a lot of fighting and battles. They were showing off the Titans, and each of the Titans kind of had their own unique scenery and like way to go about it. Like there was one they showed off that was like more cave that you have to go in. There was one that was more open, like an open field. There was one that was more of an ice type environment. So I guess that was kind of interesting. And they had different types of blades, which are kind of the things that help you attack. They had attack types, defender types, and healer types. And you can take, I think it says 3 at a time into battle to help you fight. So that was kind of interesting. I don't know that Xenoblade really kind of interests me per se, but then again, I haven't really given it much of a chance. So maybe it'll be okay, I guess. Then they went into Splatoon 2. They talked about the Kelp Dome and the Snapper Canal areas, which are new battle arenas. The Kelp Dome had like these grates, so you can shoot down or up through the grates and like attack people. So that's kind of interesting. And the Snapper Canal, there's like this big gap with water. I mean, obviously canal, right? Was water there, and you kind of have to figure out a way to like how to jump across and get into enemy territory, and to get at the enemy. So that was kind of interesting. I think Kelp Dome more because of the grates kind of thing. You kind of have to be more aware. So that one kind of interested me more than Snapper Canal. And they also introduced the Tentabella, which is a new weapon. It's like a guard type thing that it looked like. It looked like a tent almost. Like a four pieces of a tent that go around you that can like block incoming paint from the other team, which seemed kind of cool. Then they talked about Fire Emblem a little bit, with Lyn being the new sort of character. And they said there was going to be like a little trailer or something that was going up. I didn't have a chance to look at that, so I'm sure it's up somewhere if that interests you. They talked about Snipperclips Plus, which has 30 new stages. Now, Snipperclips was a game that came out for the Switch like in the very beginning. I always thought it looked pretty interesting, but like if you try to play it solo, that really wasn't fun. And it was also kind of disappointing because I watched playthroughs of this game a couple of times that it was like short. Like once you finish it, what do you do? And it was kind of disappointing because it seemed like a really fun game to like play with other people. But now they have Snipperclips Plus. And they said if you already had it, you can go to the eShop and purchase the new stuff as DLC. I'm not exactly sure how the pricing is going to work with that. But I'm sure if you already bought it, there's got to be some sort of discount or something, right? Because it's just new stuff. And they said you could replay the old levels as new body shapes to give like more of a challenge or more of a different way of thinking to how to play. So I guess if you had interest, you do. But they should have did that from the start, or at least I don't know. The game was kind of short. I think if you already bought it, they should have given that as free DLC because that's just my opinion. Next up, they showed Morphe's Law. It's like a shape-shifting shooter type game. the tallest person at the end wins. You kind of like, depending on where you hit, that's what makes the part of you increase. Like if you shoot them in the head, that makes your head get bigger. If you shoot them in the legs, that makes your legs get taller. And that kind of changes the attack and abilities that you can do during the whole battle. You can jump higher, for instance, if you had the longer legs. Sometimes you have to change your allies to be smaller or bigger or what have you. So, I don't know. The whole thing looks so weird to me. I don't know. That's kind of like a niche market sort of game. To me, at least. I don't know if I see it appealing to, like, a wide audience. Then they talked about Rocket League. That's not a surprise to anybody. Pretty much everyone knew Rocket League was already coming to the Switch. We get Mario and Luigi toppers, and they get exclusive carts that are only for the Switch. There was a Mario Kart, Mario Kart. There was also a Luigi Kart and like a Samus Kart. But really, it was just like the color of Samus's armor. Whatever. It didn't seem too exciting to me anyway. There's Arena of Valor they talked about, 35 heroes, real-time online battles. Seemed like nothing that interests me. Kind of like a, what's that game called? Vainglory, I think. Like, yeah, it seemed like a Vainglory type thing you could play. Whatever, I guess. They talked about Skyrim briefly. Everybody kind of knew about Skyrim. They mainly focused on showing off the Legend of Zelda amiibo. The particular one they showed in the video was the Archer Link amiibo. And that can give you like Link's tunic and his sword and the shield. Or they say you can just find him in the world somewhere. I guess that's like the only Nintendo-esque addition to the game of Skyrim. I mean, everybody knows Skyrim, right? They talked about Doom and Wolfenstein 2 coming to the Switch. Flip Wars. There's a new battle mode with leaderboards and local wireless play. Some of these games don't interest me, so I'm sorry if I'm kind of rushing through them. Or some of them are just like everybody knows that it was coming. It's no surprise. Probably heard it a million times before. Now, the next one they talked about kind of was a little exciting to me because I didn't know this was coming. It's called Arcade Archives Mario Brothers, and that actually comes out this month, at the end of this month on September 27th. They have ice climbers, like a balloon fight, pinball, etc. Just like versus mode. It looked pretty interesting. They didn't kind of go over all of them. It was kind of a little quick thing, but it looked really fun. You could play against each other using the Joy-Cons and just compete and have fun. And they briefly talked about Breath of the Wild, namely the champion figures that are going to be coming out, and they will give out different materials and weapons, of course, just kind of like how the other amiibo work now. But the best thing and the most interesting thing that they were talking about with the Breath of the Wild amiibo, the champion amiibo, was that they have exclusive headgear that you can get, one from each champion, but they didn't say what it does or what's the purpose. What do you get with it? You can kind of maybe assume what you might get, but it would be nice to know what's the rest of it, because out of all of them, I was kind of considering getting the Mipha amiibo, the champion Mipha amiibo, but I mean, if the other ones do something too, where you get the helmet and everything, maybe there might be a reason to buy those too. So the next part, they kind of just quick fire spitballed, saying that NBA 2K18, WWE 2K18, and FIFA 18 are all coming to the Nintendo Switch. Sports games and me, we don't go together. So I'm kind of glad they didn't go into too much detail with that. They also threw in Pokémon Tournament DX. And they reiterated that the demo was out now. I actually played the demo of it. It was really disappointing to me. You only could play as 3 Pokemon, and I believe it was 2 support sets to choose from, and you could only fight a maximum of 15 battles, and the battles go quick, so really, like, 15 minutes you're done with the demo. It really sucked for me. It wasn't even worth it. Like, I don't know, some people were giving me crap about it, but seriously, you're trying to convince someone to buy your game, and you give them such a bare bones minimum junk of a demo. That doesn't draw me into the game. I'm sorry. Moving on, they talked about a title that Square Enix is going to be putting on the Switch, and it's going to be a Switch exclusive title, which is even more interesting, and it's an RPG. Now, if you know me, ding ding ding, this is going off in my head that this might be something to look at. The name of it is called Project Octopath Traveler, but they said a couple of times in there in little parentheses that it's a working title, so title may switch or switch, and we're talking about the Switch. They may change the title at some point, or they might leave it, who knows. But what makes this interesting is that you have 8 heroes, and each hero kind of has their own story and their own abilities that they can use. These are the same producers that produced Bravely Default, if you're familiar with that series, which is pretty well liked, as far as I've seen anyway. I haven't really seen too many people talk bad about Bravely Default. They said it was an HD 2D, which is just like, it looks like a nice game, but it's 2D, not 3D. Whatever. Come up with your own little catchy things, I guess. But you get to choose your hero and the story that you want to go along. And you get sort of these little boost points for attacking and stuff, and you can use them to, like, chain abilities and attacks, or to help your allies when they're in need. And also your heroes, like, each have their own specific thing that they can do. Like, they showed off 2 of them. One of the heroes could, like, challenge anybody they want, which could, like, stop a bad guy, or, like, get somebody out of your path that you need. Or there was also one they were showing could lure people, so they could lure the person in to help them with battle, or they could lure a bad guy into a trap, pretty much is what they were showing off. So that seemed interesting, but I think the best kind of news with that is the demo is available after this direct. So it's actually already available right now if you want to play, download onto your Switch and see what it's all about. I personally think this sounds really cool. And since it's from Square Enix, it should be pretty good. Disclaimer, I know not all Square Enix stuff is good, I know. But I kind of have high expectations for this one. It sounds really cool, really interesting. The battles they showed off seemed really cool and interesting. Didn't seem like anything weird or abnormal. It was turn-based, like almost all RPGs. Then they talked about the ARMS update, which actually comes out today. It's version 3.0, I believe they said. It's going to introduce Lolopop, which is the new character. She's got 3 new arms: the Fun Chuck, the Biffler, and the Clapback. And you can now customize your controls. If you haven't played ARMS, I recommend it. It's pretty fun. Got to play it. You can play with the Joy-Cons with the motion controls, or you can play with a Pro Controller, or just like the normal controller things that you can slip the Joy-Cons. I don't know what they call that. It's like a little controller you can slip the Joy-Cons into, and it's kind of like a little controller you can play with. You can play with on the little tablet gamepad thing. multiple ways to play. I think it's really fun. But yeah, there's actually, it seems like it's pretty fun, and they're keeping up with ARMS updates, which is really interesting, and I hope they continue to do more. I don't see it being like a huge Smash Brothers kind of franchise thing, but I think ARMS is a really fun game, and I think some people underrate it, but it's pretty fun. When I played the test punch, the last one they had a couple weeks ago, I was like glued to that game, playing for a long time. It was really fun. And in case you're curious, I was mainly playing Twintel and Mechanica. Those were like my two main characters I was using. Then they talked about Dragon Quest Builders. We kind of already know, or you should know, Dragon Quest Builders coming out. It's kind of like Dragon Quest meets Minecraft, if I could describe it quickly and easily for you. The only thing really worth mentioning there is the Great Saber Cub that you can get. It's like a mount, which it was a Switch exclusive. You can run around on it. Looked cute, I guess, but I've seen Dragon Quest Builders be played. I never really got into Dragon Quest personally, so it didn't really, I don't know, seeing it played the first time, I think I saw it played on the PS4, I want to say. Someone was playing PS4. Didn't really appeal to me too much. I thought it was cute, but I don't know, nothing too spectacular. They talked about Kirby Star Allies, and it was kind of cool. They were showing that you can combine abilities, so like they had a bomb one with like, I don't know what the other one was. It was like they created a hot air balloon and you're going up into the bomb, and they showed like elemental ones that you could team up and do like a special attack. It looked interesting, and I think it'll do well as they show more of the game in time. And they named a lot of like eShop and upcoming titles, so I'm just gonna rapid fire them off to you. SteamWorld Dig 2, Golf Story, 9 Parchments, Battle Chef Brigade, Tiny Metals, Super Meat Boy Forever, Lost Sphere, Sonic Forces, Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, and LA Noire. So yeah, those are just basically, here's what's coming to the eShop, and or here's what's coming soon. They really did not go into very much detail with those, so I'm not going to bother with it either. And of course, they could not have a direct without mentioning Mario Odyssey. It's coming out in October, end of October. So they kind of showed off some of the same that we've already seen before, and they showed off some new stuff. So one of the newest things that they kind of were talking about, which gave a little bit more of the story, which is nice. There was an image the other day that showed Princess Peach with a little tiara that had the little eyeballs like Cappy. So everyone was kind of wondering, okay, what's going on with Peach? She's got this little, her own Cappy sort of thing of her own. Apparently, that is Tiara. Of course, her name is Tiara, which is the sister of Cappy. And Cappy teams up with Mario to go rescue his sister, Tiara. And that's kind of how the thing came about. The ship is called the Odyssey, if you didn't know. They showed off a new world, Shiveria, which was in the Snow Kingdom. They showed off Bubblegum, which was in the Seaside Kingdom. They said you could use Amiibo, and the Amiibo would help you find different moons in the area. They had a snapshot mode, which you could take pictures and you could upload to social media. It was kind of interesting how much they did with the snapshot feature, because you could like blur the background, you could tilt it, you could have different colors. They just had a lot of options they were showing off with that mode. So I think I've talked enough, and yeah, that's pretty much my whole run through of the Direct and my opinions of it. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I hope you guys watch the Direct yourself so you kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. And I'll see you on the next time. Bye!